Rayanaaya. Om Namo Narayanaaya. Om Namo. Welcome, respected friends, for the study of this colossal, sublime, beautiful Shastra Shri Yoga Vaashishtha Maha Ramayanam Samvada between Sri Rama and Vasishtha, given in book form by Valmiki Maharshi. Third Utpatthi Prakaranam, we are seeing LEELOPAKHYANam. Yesterday, the Brahmana, seeing that Raja Parivara himself wanted like that Sankalpa he was going on entertaining while doing his Brahmanochita Krutya. Old age came, he died. Before that, his wife did Saraswati Upasana. When mother came, she asked that my husband, when he leaves or dies, should not leave this uh, house where we are staying. Mother said Tathastu. Then the time came, he died. Then what happened is the story we have to see in the 20th Sarga of 3rd Utpatthi Prakaranam. Paramartha Varnanam is the name of this Sarga. So, what will be told is in this way, from one Sankalpa to the other Sankalpa, the creation or the worlds or the bodies get projected Kalpita to us. They are only with all the solidness that are seen in it, still they are Kalpita. Brahman alone, the real substantial solid Vastu, and having engrossed into this world so much for so many lives, true, it is so difficult for us to catch this point. But then, till it is caught, and then giving up Mithya Jagat and realizing the reality, there is no moksha. Therefore, this Shastra, these Guru Upadeshas, which are telling us about Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya, should not be left by us. Add to it one's own Manana Chintana, that knowledge starts becoming ours. Any initial endeavor is endowed with fear and difficulty. But once we become masters of it, fear goes away, difficulty goes away. We are at ease with that. So too, the Vedantic Jnanam of Brahma Satyatva Jagan Mithyatva is difficult and frightening. But when we pursue and start gaining that insights, definitely those fears will go away. Difficulties will go away. Then what is said by the gurus, the masters, becomes obvious to us. One of the biggest benefit outcome of satsang. And only through the satsang that happens is only through satsang on shastras, no other way. That our buddhi becomes vikasita to grasp what is satya, what is mithya. There is no other way for moksha, and there is no other way for the buddhi to become that way sharper, subtler than the nirantara shastra shravanadhyana. And adhyana also, yeah, let us take up into 3 lives of time. Now, at least, let us do the regular Shravana. Our Guru gave us that great technique. He called it as Shravana Sadhana. You know, you are speaking and you are listening. That's a sadhana to you, he told us. Gita Jnana Yajna Shravana Sadhana. Bhagavata Jnana Yajna Shravana Sadhana. So we used to do. That was a very healthy, substantial practice which helped us so much inexplicable in words. So, let us not leave this study. Beautiful, effortless. Sit, listen with bhakti, shraddha, prema. Little more interest and intellect applied than while watching a movie or cricket match. Use this convenience of technology of today, ki being at the comforts of your own home, aram se you can listen. But for any listening to become effective, the minimum preparations of freshness, faith, prema needed here also. With them as a duty, keep on listening. Shrutva anyebhyo upasate tepi cha atitharanti eva mrityum shruti parayana. Those who take up Shravana as Parayana, they also in time, though little late, then those who do Manana Chintana, इनका भी वो परमात्मा अवगाहना understanding होता है. Beautiful. That's why you see in many of the thousands of ashrams that are there in India, Nirantara the Guru gives daily Upadesh. The inmates of the ashram, people surrounding, they come, they listen. And for the बुद्धू onlookers, it appears अब डेली वो बोल रहे हैं सुन रहे हैं क्या है उसका ऐसा लगता है. But both of them, the speaker, the guru, the acharya, the listeners are doing the vigorous exercise which these onlookers do not know. The exercise of sitting for 1 hour, is it an easy thing? You can run 1 hour, you can walk 1 hour, you can't sit 1 hour. The exercise of not allowing sense organs to get distracted. Do you think an ordinary tapasya it is? The exercise of listening to the subject which the Guru is telling. करके देख 2 दिन में तुम भाग जाओगे. These people are listening for months together. They may appear to be ordinary women folk, domestic seva doing people, uneducated, illiterates. True for you, the onlooker from outside. But from within, how much they are growing through that satsanga heard and understanding tattva, understanding bhakti, etc. You can't do it even with 100 lives. That's why I always appreciate and salute all the masters, acharyas who continuously take satsangas, and more appreciations to all those who come and do this Shravana. I really recommend, suggest them, never give up. Give up anything. Prana jaya para, है ना? There, the jana, what is he? Dasratji said, vachana na jaya. You add only one letter, pra. Prana jaya par, pravachana na jaya. Isn't it? I to do that. Prana jaya par, pravachana na jaya. Isn't it? Come. So what was there in the 19th Sarga? Before that, the 2-3 minutes. Om 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 Sahana Vavatu Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Om Shri Rama Rama Rameti Om ब्रह्मानंदम परम सुखदम परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे समस्त ब्रह्म भक्ति योग धर्म विद्या आचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. श्रीरामचंद्र परब्रह्मणे नमः. श्री वशिष्ठादि ऋषिभ्यो नमः. संकल्पः तेषां सर्वेषां कृपानुग्रहेण उपनिषद योगवासिष्ठमः रामायणोक्त ब्रह्मात्मैक्यबोधेन अस्मिन् क्षणे एव मोक्ष कैवल्य प्राप्त्यर्थम सनातन धर्म से विश्वव्याप्ति विश्व आध्यात्मिक प्रगत्यर्थम धर्म संस्थापकानां नित्य निरंतर दिग्विजयार्थम श्रीराम मंदिरवत् शिव कृष्णादि मंदिरादीनां पुनर्वाप्ते तेषु निरंतर शास्त्र अध्ययनादीनां द्वारा भारतवर्षस्य सनातन धर्मस्य बाह्याभ्यंतर शत्रुघ्न समूल निर्मूलन पूर्वक भारतवर्षे विश्वे च अस्माद् क्षणादारभ्य वैदिक हिंदव संस्कृतेः धर्ममोक्षपुरुषार्थानां सुसंप्रतिष्ठा अवाप्त्यर्थम् अस्यां कक्षायाम् आगतानां संकल्पित सत्कर्मसु दिग्विजयः तेषां हृदये परब्रह्मादीनां प्रति भक्त्यादीनां द्वारा जन्म साफल्यार्थमनेक शास्त्राणामध्ययन साधना प्रयत्नमध्ये श्री वाल्मीकि महर्षि विरचित श्रीराम वसिष्ठ संवाद रूप श्री योग वासिष्ठ महारामायण प्रकरण ग्रंथस्य पारायणमध्ययनं साधना प्रयत्न मोक्षार्थं वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे। ओम मंगलाचरण श्लोकाः। ओम यतः सर्वाणि भूतानि प्रतिभान्ते स्थितानि च यत्रैवोपशमं यान्ते तस्मै सत्यात्मने नमः। ज्ञाता ज्ञानं तथा ज्ञेयं द्रष्टा दर्शनदृश्यभूः कर्ता हेतुः क्रिया यस्मात् तस्मै ज्ञप्त्यात्मने नमः। स्फुरन्ति सीकरा यस्मात् आनन्दस्याम्बरे वनौ सर्वेषां जीवनं तस्मै ब्रह्मानन्दात्मने नमः। दिवि भूमौ तथाकाशे बहिरन्तश्च मे विभुः यो विभात्यवभासात्मा तस्मै सर्वात्मने नमः। ॐ सत्यं ज्ञानमनन्तमेकमजरं नित्यं विभुं शाश्वतं प्रत्यग्ब्रह्मरसायनं सुखगनं पूर्णं परं पावनं स्वात्मज्योतिरनादिमध्यनिधनं मायाविलासैर्मुहुः विश्वाकारमपास्तमायमभयं वन्दे विशुद्धं पदं। ज्ञानात् एवात्मनो मोक्षः न तु कर्मसमाधिभिः अज्ञातोऽसौ स्वसदृश्यं सृजत्येवेति कीर्त्यते। ॐ तस्मै श्रीगुरवे वसिष्ठमुनये नित्यं नमस्कुर्महे। ॐ विश्वामित्रमुनिं शरण्यमनघं भूयो नमस्याम्यहम्। ॐ तस्मै वाल्मीकये श्री गुरुतमगुरवे भूरिभावैर्नताः स्मः। ॐ पूर्णानन्दस्वभावः स्वजनहितकृते माययोपात्तकायः कारुण्यादुद्दिदीर्षुर्जनमनवरतं मोहपङ्के निमग्नम् आविश्यान्तर्वसिष्ठं बहिरविकलयन् शिष्यभावं वितेने यः संवादेन शास्त्रामृतजलधिममुं रामचन्द्रं प्रपद्ये। ओम श्री रामचंद्र परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्री वशिष्ठादि ऋषिभ्यो नमः। श्री योग वासिष्ठ महारामायण शास्त्रम तृतीय उत्पत्ति प्रकरणम परमार्थ वर्णनं नाम विंशतितमः सर्गः। ओम श्री वशिष्ठ उवाच। सो स्टोरी इज अथ कालवशात् विप्रः सह पंचत्वोपाययौ। Then Brahmana as time passed died. I am seeing from the last few mantras of earlier Sarga. Then, as the wife asked him for him to be there in that Akasha only, he had to be there. But he did his own sankalpa of wanting to be like that king. Therefore, in that Brahmana Graha, in that Akasha, that Jiva became Maharaja with all the arrangements. And that Raja's glorious kingdom ruling also has been given. Every of the great qualities of also him were told. Toward the end, Swagruha Abhyantara Akashe. In that Swagruha Abhyantara Akasha, in that hall, Chitta Akashamaya Atmani. In that Chitta Akasha, Tasmin Dvije Shavi Bhute. That Dvija is there Shava Bhuta, Bhuta Akasha Sharini. The Bhuta Akasha Sharira is there as Shiva Bhuta, but in the Chitta Akasha he became the king. Sa tasya Brahmani Bharya Shokena Atyanta Karshita. She was so much of Shoka Dukha. She was in Shushkeva Masha Shimbika Hridayena Dvidha Bhavat. She became so much dried up, almost about to die. Bhartrasaha Shavibhuta Deha Mutsruja Durataha. So she also left that body and died. Ativahika Dehena Bharataram Samupayayam. So with that Ativahika Deha, she reached to that husband. That's what her sankalpa. Nadi nikhatamiva, like the river going towards the ocean. Tam bhartaram anusrutya. She followed that husband. Sa ajagama vishokatvam. She found her comfort there with him. Sa vasanti iva manjari. Like in the Vasanta Rutu, the manjari, the creepers become happy. In this way, tatra, what about this body? Asya viprasya gruhani, sorry, of that Brahmana, the grahani, the houses, bhustavaradini, whatever the bhumi he had, the stavara, the immobile objects he had, dhanani, little bit whatever wealth he had his own. Adya, all of that was kept there only. But he left. He is there now as a king in that Chittakash. Now the surprising thing Mother Saraswati tells is Adya Ashtamam Vasaram Apta Mrutyoho. So this is the eighth day that Brahmana died. Jivaha Girigramaka Kandarastaha. In that Girigrama Kandara, in that one particular house, that Brahmana used to stay and died. Eighth day today, she says. Mother. With this, that 19th Sarga was over. The 20th Sarga continues. Om Sri Ramachandra Parabrahmane Namaha Sri Yoga Vaashishtha Maha Ramayanam Tritiya Utpatthi Prakaranam LEELOPAKHYANam PARAMARTHA VARNANAM Sri VASHISHTHA Uvacha Sri Devi Uvacha. Mother continues telling to this Leela and the surprise. The bigger than the biggest surprise is what? Listen carefully. Sate bharta adya sampannaha dijo bhupatvam. So, Saha, Dijaha, that Brahmana who left the body and became king, no. Te bharta adyaha sadya sampannaha bhupatvam agataha. That Brahmana who died became king. He is none other than your own husband. So, Saha Dijaha adya te bharta sampannaha bhupatvam agataha. You had your husband who also died now. He is none but that Brahmana only. See the surprise? Who wanted to become the king. To be more surprise, Yasa Yasau Arundhati Nama Brahmani. And he has wife Arundhati Brahmani. She prayed and she died and went to her husband. Who was that? Satvam Angane. Oh dear Angana, O Yuvati, that wife of that Brahmana, whose name also was Arundhati, is you only, Leela. अब देखो. So the divine expressions like the Mother Saraswati or Rishi Muni, they know the gati of every jiva, Stula and Sukshma Rupa. Remember Stulata, Sukshmata, then the Akasha Vyatyasa, then Kala Vyatyasa, all of them are transcended with us yogis, gurus. Therefore, about the Kala, any past they know. About the Desha, any Loka they know. Just all mystical things that are possible. Science outside it is trying to that way. Find these things mostly which the yogis have already discovered, found. है ना? अब देखो, one by one, walking from one place to the other, we traveled the distance. So that effort also, time also reduced. When we went by Bail Gadi, then when we went by the horse, it became little quicker, less effortful. Slowly the cycles came, then two-wheelers came, then the trains came, then the four-wheelers. More distance, less time, less effort. Science is growing, na? Then came the flights. Maximum distance, no effort at all. So much so that you are not supposed to do any do effort. इसलिए बेल्ट से बांध कर बैठो कुछ मत करना in the flight. Please tighten your belts. If you don't do, that lady feels so bad. Air hostess or hostess. She will see to it that you are tight and you sit straight. No movement, no doing anything. Maximum distance covered with minimum time, minimum effort. Next one is what? Now already that supersonic flights discussed. That the 18 hours distance between US India is covered only now 1.5 hour, 2 hours. 2 hours may you can reach America. It will come in our own lifetime. आएगा. No, how much ever you do this, these are all physical. है ना? But at the mind level, which how subtle it is and how fast it is, isn't it? If I dissolve myself, gross, subtle, and become one with mind, and as a mind, one place to other in a microsecond I travel, and there, for the sake of transaction, I take up the respective sharira. That's the yoga sthiti. The rishis like yogis like Narada Adi, suddenly he is in Swarga, then he is in Brahma Loka, then he is in Gandharva Loka, then he is in Bhuloka. In the Bhuloka, he is with Ravana for some time. Next moment, he is there in Ayodhya with Dasharath. Hare, ye kidhar hai, ye kidhar hai. For them, times and distances don't matter. They're all concepts of mind. When you reach to the mind level, covering distances is no problem at all. Forget about the one look at to different galaxies only the travel happens. In seconds. Yes, the so-called rishis allowing the earth to go through its prarabdha. Which galaxy who have gone to do what work, we don't know on deputation. डेपुटेशन में गए होंगे, जाते हैं. व्यास जी को कहेंगे नारायण जी और ब्रह्मदेवा, ए व्यास, अर्थ को थोड़ा छोड़ो, वहां थोड़ा उधर है ना, 2 million light years डिस्टेंस में दिस वन लोका गो, सम जीवास आते उपदेश देकर आओ. ठीक है साहब, ही गोज देयर. These are all mystical possibilities. So here, that Brahmana who died and became king is your husband. And that Arundhati is you only. Remember, to that Brahmana, it is happening in Chittakasha. But in that Chittakasha, when he became Raja, now again it is Bhutakasha. He ruled the kingdom for such a long time, only in 8 days. That 8 days belong to that Brahmana left the body life. But that Jiva, who Brahmana became king, for him it is 100 years. Don't get confused. Only one thing to understand with all this. The Brahman alone is reality, in that with Maya, the Desha and Kala Kalpana, and in that things projected, it is infinite way and infinite varieties. But catch it and don't be surprised. Like once the movie taking has come, the shooting the movie, millions of movies of different stories, actions, dialogues, they'll come, that's it. Maya. Isn't it? Once writing songs start happening, thousands of songs will be written. Once the sporting thing happens, hundreds of sports will come. In each one of them, the improvements. Only test matches were there. Though two, first test was 10 days, the longest test. You know that longest test was 10 days. One team played for 7, 8 days, above 900 runs made. Then it became 6 days, like 5 days. And suddenly the one day internationals came. And it was a long time only that was there. First time when the T20 was introduced, it was surprising. Then the T20s came, then T10s came, then hundreds came. Now the 6 over matches are there. Then only one team used to play for country. Now below 16, below 19, then rising stars, then the main team, team A, team B, team C, then senior citizens, then above 40, above 60. How many matches are going on now? Then the women in that blind, India got World Cup. How many things? Once you start, it will be uncountable. Once you make the bridges, thousands of bridges you make. Once you make railway tracks, hundreds will come up. Once you start making buildings, skyscrapers, It won't stop at one place. 100. Which is the country? We listen about all these African nations to be very poor. But जाकर देखो, देर आर दुबई की तरह बिल्डिंग्स वहां भी है. Dubai once was in a desert only 40, 50 years back. Now you see, intelligent fellows, they know the oil will end one day. So they found other means to continue their vyapara and all of that so that the economy sustains. You understood? These are examples. एक बार कपड़ा बनने लगा तो ये कितने वेराइटी का बर्तन बनेंगे करोड़ों लाखों. टू व्हीलर्स बनेंगे तो हजारों तरह के. In the same way, once the projection starts, it can be unimaginable, mind blowing, and mind boggling. Knowing this, the Jnani never gets surprised seeing anything. Because in the Maya, Agatita Gatana Patiyasi, anything and everything is possible. But still, all of that is endful binding. Only being one with the reality is liberating. To catch that point, all this, time and again, we will remind this. Lest we get lost, क्या बता रहे हैं कहानियां. तो कहानी is the Leela and the Raja Padma. Padma became old. Leela prayed to Saraswati, let my husband not leave this place. He should be here only. Then really he died and he was here. She yet to die, almost to die. Mother came, assured her, don't worry, you will get your husband back. Then mother's blessing she got Nirvikalpa Samadhi. In that she saw her husband to be a king. Then she came and all other same people were there. Organized a meeting to ensure whether all died or all alive. Everybody were alive. So she was happy for that thing. Now she is in a confusion which is real, that are this. Again she invoked mother. The discussion is happening. In that discussion, mother first tells to be very clear, Bhuta Chittakash, Chidakasha, Chittakasha, Bhutakasha. Reality is only Chidakasha. That is Parabrahma. With its Maya Shakti, Chittakasha with infinite Chitta Jagats, Bhutakasha with infinite Bhuta Jagats will be always continuously, uncountably projected. In that one story, while narrating as per her question about the whole world, she told about Giri Grama Kandara, that one village, in that one house, in that one Brahmana. He is like Vasishtha, his wife is like Arundhati, but not the real Arundhati Vasishtha. But he was also great. He saw Narayana, that king, with all the paraphernalia. He also wanted that. That uncle was going on in him. He became old, about to die. Then his wife too, Arundhati, prayed to Mother Saraswati, asking that my husband should not leave this place, should be here. Thoda shabd idhar udhar, but both of them wanted that he should be here. Mother said, Tathastu. Then that Brahmana died, he became king as he wanted. But he had to be there in that Akasha of this house only. But it doesn't make any difference. He is in the own Chitta Akasha. This lady also died, she went to him. Now the story is that Raja, earlier was Brahmana, was your own husband who is now dead body died. Padma. And that Arundhati is you only. Up to this we have seen so far. ओके कनेक्शन हो रहा है ना स्टोरी भी रिपीट करेंगे कंटिन्यूएशन इहे महु कुरुतौ राज्यम तौ भवन्तौ सुदंपति चक्रवाका विवनवौ भुवि जातौ शिवाविव so here imau kurutau rajyam here the ones who are doing the rajyam bhavantau you both sudampati wonderful couple padma and you leela chakravaka viva navau like Chakravaka, Chakravaki, fresh. You forgot you are those Brahmana Dampati. Bhuvi Jatau Shivav Iva. So on the Bhuvi you are born with a freshness of your new life. as close to each other, unseparable like Shiva. Shiva means Shiva and Shiva. That is like Parvati Parameshwar. Then, Eshate Katitaha Sarvaha. This chapter we chanted yesterday. So I'm not chanting, directly going through the mantras. Third mantra. Eshate Katita Sarvaha Praktanaha Samsmriti Kramaha. So earlier, what happened and what was the smriti of that led to the new projections, I told you. But the summary is what? Bhranta matrakam akasham evam jiva swarupa druk. The entire akasha is the Bhranti. In that, the Jiva with his all upadhis also is Jiva Rupa Sarupa Druk, that also Bhranti only. All that Jiva Bhava, upadhis, wanting to be a Brahmana, wanting to be a Kingu, really appearing to become so. These are all that Maya Shakti Vilasa. That anything can be that way projected and produced. What produced? Projected and kalpita, imagined. So, Brahmadasmat Chidakashe Brahmoyam Pratibhimbitaha Asatya eva va satya Bhavator Bhavabhangadaha. See, Brahmad Asmat Chidakashe. In this pure Chidakasha only, because of the Brahma, uh, Brahma Ayam Pratibhimbitaha. That's Chittakasha and the Chitta Raja and Jagat. Bhutakasha and Bhuta Brahmana and Vaifu. Both are Brahma only. Asatya eva va satyaha bhavator bhavabhangadaha. So, if you know what is Sat and if you know what is Asat, in that bhavatoho bhavabhangadaha, there is no more bhava samsara to you. The crux of it is what? Just because we have the antakarana and that can be used to imagine. Don't imagine anything. Then you will get that. And anything that is gained through imagination called as sankalpa of the antakarana is nashvara, therefore it is dukkha giving. That is why in our next text also, yesterday also we have seen so much, drop all sankalpa, realize the Brahman, that's it. That sankalpa itself is called as kamana. Therefore the first sloka is Prajahati kaman sarvan parthamanagatan. Then only you will discover the self. Atmaneva atmana tushta. And establishing that prajna, that Am Brahmasmi. That's called the Shreyas. Morning class in Gita. Wonderful, no? So, Brahmad Asmat Chidakashe Brahmoyam Pratibhimbita. Remember, in the Chidakasha, the Chittakasha is Pratibimba. In that, the Bhutakasha is Pratibimba. They are not real. Chittakash mein Chitta Jagat, Bhutakash mein Bhuta Jagat. And they keep on interchanging. And to some extent, some logical Karya Karana Sambandha can be established. But finally, if you see, everything is kalpita. When यही असत्य है ये उसका कारण वो असत्य है तो इसका कारण अभी नहीं हो सकता. That's how we cut asunder all these ignorance born notions through the right thinking, the right wisdom. ये है वेदांत का मजाल और मजा. So your question was, this husband's body is there and we had a kingdom. ये असत्य सत्य है या you sent me in that nirvikalpa to that king. That's satya hai. You asked, na? This is in Bhutakasha, that is Chittakasha. But both are kalpita. So tasmat bhrantimayaha kahasyat. Who is the bhrantimaya? Ko va bhranti ujjitaha bhavet. Who is free from the bhranti or real? Sargaha nirargala anartha bodhat. The entire creation is nirargala anartha. Bodhat. When that is realized, na anya vijrumbate. There is nothing other than Brahman, which is so powerfully, conspicuously projected otherwise to bind. Okay. Bhranti. Tasmat Bhrantimaya kasyat ko va Bhranti ujjita bhave. Therefore, which is Bhrantimaya, which is Bhranti rahita? In your question, the answer is Sargaha Nirargala Anartha. Continuous Anartha is that Sarga whether it is Tula or Sukshma, Bodhat. When that Bodha is gained by you, the Anyaha Vijrummate, other than Paramatma, the other things won't arise, making you ask question whether which is real, this or that. इसका अर्थ क्या हुआ? Which is so tough for me to explain, and how much tough it is for you to understand, God knows. What I am talking now, what you are listening, what we are doing throughout the day, it's all Kalpana Maya only. There is nothing real and nothing required. Can we lift our intellect to that level? Slowly, steadily. Both. Nothing required and nothing real too. भटकी जा रहे, but just be the self. Jiva, having gone through this side, samsara dukkha for thousands of lives. Other side, listening to this jnana from the Guru, for the same number of lives, slowly becomes paripakva to understand the asatyata, the bhrantitva of the entire sthula sukshma jagat other than Brahman. Then that real mumuksha jignasa comes to him. Mumuksha is desire to get liberated from the bhranti sthula sukshmas. Jignasa is to know one's own essential self. ये जो बात इतने बार सुन रहे हैं मुमुक्षा जिज्ञासा, उसका आयोटा आल्सो हैज नॉट टच्ड अस. वी लिसन दैट्स इट. पर बहुत बातें सुनते, बाबा जी बेचारा बोलते हैं ना, बोलन दो. एनी बाबा स्पीक्स, sympathy, out of sympathy to him we listen. Nothing touches us to begin with. But persistently, continuously, when we keep listening this and go through the life's gamut, slowly the Jagat Mithyatva understanding happens. And the Brahma Sattva also is known. Then we reject that Mithya Jagat and desire to realize the Brahman. When the Mithya Jagat is given up, all dukkha goes. When the reality is realized, the sukha comes. So dukkha nivritti sukha prapti is by tyaga of the Bhranta Jagat and anubhuti of the Satyatma. So these words categorically should find meaning in our understanding as a result of our everyday listening, my dear friends. Okay. After this, now Leela, Vaashishtha ji says to Rama, Sri Vaashishtha uvacha iti akarnya chiram charo vismayotfullalochana bhutva uvacha vacho Leela Leela lasapadaksharam. So, iti akarnya chiram and charu. For a long time, having heard all this from mother and listening charu very consciously, alertness ke साथ, vismaya utfulla lochana. Her eyes got opened up with the आश्चर्य. आश्चर्य के साथ आंख कैसे खुल गए. भूतवा, having become like that, uvacha vachaha Leela. Leela spoke these words. Leela rasa padaksharam, with all devotion, with all the nectarine sweetness in that. Leela spoke these questions. Again discussion with mother. Leelo vacha. She says, I will not accept it. What did she say? Devi bhostvad mithya. Devi bho, oh mother, tvad vachah mithya. Your vani is absolute jhoot. Mithya hai. Like in Gita, Arjuna says, 3rd chapter, 2nd shloka, Vyamishrena iva vakyena buddhim mohayasi iva me. I asked you to free me from my moha. I know. He says, no, dharma sammoha cheta, sammudha cheta. So instead of removing my moha, you are adding moha only to me. Buddhi mohayasiva me vyamishrineva vakyena. So same Arjuna again, having continuously listened what says. First in 11th chapter, mohoyam yugato mama, he says, my delusion is gone. And finally, nashto moha smritir labdha in the 18th chapter. Because he was consistently listening to the Lord, contemplating, understanding. You and I are continuously listening to Shastras, contemplation, the understanding is slowly growing in us. Good. This speed is a walkie good speed. More surprised is to see some of you coming to class continuously. Otherwise, to come to the class continuously, to maintain that only 10 lives it takes. That means 10 lives have been spent by us in the past to reach to this level of being continuous. The others, जो आज आ रहे हैं कल नहीं आते हैं, 10 दिन में एक बार क्लास आते, उनको 10 जन्म लगेगा to be able to continuously come to satsang. Then when you come, then only you listen. When you listen, then only you understand. When you understand, then only you contemplate. When you contemplate, then only conviction comes. After conviction only, we reject the Mithya Jagat and we seek the reality. There comes starts the real sadhana. अभी हमारा साधना है ना, भटकते हुए साधना है. साधना कह ही नहीं सकते उसको. We are struggling even to maintain our regular routine of japa upasana. Where are we sadhana? है ना, इसको बंदूक भी उठाना नहीं आ रहा. डू यू से दैट ही इज नाउ कमांडेंट और कैप्टन और द कर्नल ऑफ द आर्मी? बंदूक ही उठाने नहीं आ रहा. हमको शब्द भी समझ में नहीं आ रहे. वेर आर वी साधकास? नो कंसिस्टेंसी, नो श्रद्धा प्रेम, डोंट इवन नो हाउ टू डू उच्च साधना. व्हाट वे, हाउ कैन यू कॉल साधक? मैं अपने बारे में कह रहा हूँ, आप तो महान पंडित होंगे, मैंने तो नहीं पता. आई डोंट नो हाउ टू डू अ सत्संग आल्सो प्रॉपरली. एंड व्हेन विल आई नो? आई डोंट नो. दिस इज नॉट द वे सत्संग इज डन. The true way of invoking the rishis, gurus, devatas, making you all sit and tuning both of us to the divine and explaining to you one by one word with all logic explanation and giving time for you to understand. Then allow you to ask some questions if you have. Now I don't, I'll give you any chance to ask because I don't know answer. क्योंकि आप कुछ भी पूछ सकते हो. I like a parrot. I'm talking what's there in the book. And you all know that takes time. Give time. Takes effort, give effort. Needs sacrifice, do so. Needs love, love it. Needs Shraddha, have Shraddha. जो जो शास्त्र को पढ़कर परमात्मा को पाने के लिए चाहिए, सबको इकट्ठा करो. And whatever becomes an obstacle, respectfully throw it away. Okay. So, Devi Bhoho Tadvacho Mithya. Your words are Mithya, Jut. Mithya means they are wrong, Jut. Katham Sampannam Idrusham. How come these royal kingly things which we have? Kwa Viprajiva Swagruhe. In his own Gruha, that Brahmana Jiva, you said there in the Akasha Bhatakra. Kveme Vayame Hastitaha, and we are in such a big kingdom, physical earth, physical everything. That Vipragruha is maximum 6 bata 8 या 8 बजता 10 होगा, 10 बटा 12. But we are in such a huge kingdom as king and queen. We have a lot of palatial places, Antapura. आप कितना आप मिथ्या कह रहे हो, उसका इसका कोई फर्क है क्या? है ना? In a huge kingdom, in a palace, in a corner, one small kutia is made. In that, a Brahmana is staying. If that way you say, it is understandable. You are saying the other way around. In that small Girigrama, where in that one room of Brahmana, that Brahmana Jiva is there in that space only. And he is the king now, and that king is my husband, the queen is me, and the whole kingdom. How it can be there in it? आप तो गलत झूठ बोल रहे हो, उल्टा बोल रहे हो. संगत जैसा संगत वैसा, है ना, जैसे संग वैसा रंग. आप मेरे से मिलकर आप भी बिगड़ गए हो क्या? शी इज टेलिंग एज यू सरस्वती माता, you got deluded. Like sometimes when somebody tells something very sublime, the other fellow does not understand. He tries to correct him. Like now, when we say something which is 5, 6 steps ahead, the very low, worldly people, they don't understand it. We understand that they have not understood what we meant by that subtlest thing. Though we keep quiet, इस बंदे को उतना दिमाग नहीं है करके हम laugh करते बस. Because he is not refined or pure enough to catch what subtle thing we said. It's very, very gross. So she says, Tava Kathanam Mithya, Kwa Viprajiva Swagruhe. Viprajiva is in that Swagruha. Kve me vayame hastitaha. And that Brahman is my husband and wife is me. And we have such a big palace and all of that is in that Brahmana's घर में उस space में है सब. How can it be? How, that's what Yoga Vaashishtha Maha Ramayana is such a sublime text. मैं शुरू से कह रहा हूँ ना, Now you are feeling the taste of it. We all think that in the gross body there is subtle mind. It's the other way around. In the mind, the whole world is there, including this body, with which we identify and we think we are body. Body तो यही है. But with my eyes, my mind is not going to that much distance. अब आंख बंद करो तो मन ही मन, you are going to your own children's place and troubling them there. You can do it in your mind. No, mind तो जा रही है ना. माइंड नहीं जा रहा है, माइंड में ही पूरा स्थूल जगत है. No, this is the reverse of the understanding, the subtle understanding. It's not that in the gross the subtle is there. It is in the subtle the gross is there. Subtle is more pervasive. है ना? So ko viprajiva swagruhe kveme vimastitaha. Then she says, Tadrug lokantaram savuhu te shailaha tadisho dasha. Totally different is this world than that small space of the house. Lokantaram, different place. Big bhumi, te shailaha, so many of the mountains. Ta disho dasha, these are 10 directions. Katham bhanti gruhasya antar. How come all of them be there in that small house? Mad bharta yeshu avastitaha. So my husband, who is the king of all those things, how can it be there in that brahmana gruha akash? वो तो इतना ही है ना. See, it's not question of छोटा बड़ा, it's subtle and gross. स्थूल सूक्ष्म का डिस्कशन हो रहा है यहाँ, छोटे बड़े का नहीं. जितना भी बड़ा हो, like huge mountain in a mirror. How much is a mirror? This much only. But in the mirror, you see the entire mountain reflected. So the mirror is sukshma. In that, the whole mountain stula is there or not. Every detail is captured nowadays with the camera of the high pixels and projected on in a thumb-sized TV. You have seen, no? The rich to watch TVs, the thumb-sized TVs within the body, the TV. They're all the ones which cause lot of harm. Therefore, they are not allowed to be projected. Otherwise, these Chinese, Japanese, we already discussed. आपके हाथ में ही टीवी दिख रहा है बस वो इधर जो वॉच में ही करो पूरा दिखता है. Then matta iravato baddha. She is giving so many examples of utter contradiction and saying, as these things are impossible, so too it is impossible for me to believe that the Brahmana who died, that Jiva in that Gruha Akasha, as per his wife's prayer to Mother Saraswati. And that Brahmana only is my king, my husband king, who has got such a huge kingdom, etc. What are the examples? Matta Airavato Baddha Sarshapa Seva Kotare. In the Sarshapa Kotara, in the Rai ke seed mein, huge elephant is tied down. Matta Airavato Baddha. Sarshapa Kotara means in the whole of that Sarshapa. Sarshapa means Rai, whatever you call in English, mustard. Second, Mashakena Krutam Yuddham Simho Gaihi Anukotare. In the Anukotara, with one mosquito, huge group of lions fighting. मशकेन कृतम युद्ध, मशक से युद्ध किया. कौन? सिंह होगा. कहाँ? अणुकोटर में. सेकंड एग्जाम्पल. थर्ड, पद्म अक्षे स्थापितः मेरु. In the lotus flower, in between that aksha, petal or karnika, meru parvata is kept. And nigirino bhrungasununa, a small bhavana came, it just gulped that meru parvata. which is kept on that lotus karnika. What is the size of lotus and karnika? Which is a huge पर्वत. वो इधर कैसे आएगा और उसको भृंगसूनु is eating it away. A small mosquito, a small भंवरा ने उस मेरु को खा लिया. So in the mustard seed, the elephant tied down with one mosquito. Many lions are fighting war in a small kotara. Or there is a Meru Parvata in the lotus which is consumed by the small bhavana. Impossible it is. Padmakshe Stavito Merur Nigirno Brunga Sunna. Now, she is giving all these are impossible. No, actually, that's how the Srishti. Anything can happen. Then Swapnabja Garjitam Shutva Chitram Nrityanti Varna. In the dream, there is a cloud. That cloud made a lot of Garjana, the thundering of the cloud. And then the outside, the Barhinaha, the peacock started dancing. Swapne mein jo the Garjana of the cloud, how can the outside what peacock can dance? Fourth one. Fifth, four batakar asamanjasam eva etat yatha. As it is asamanjasa, irrational, illogical. Sarveshwareshwari, the Ishwari of all the Ishwaras, O Mother, Tatha, in the same way, Gruhantaha, in that house of that Brahmana, Prithvi cha Shailaha cha iti, the entire Bhumi and all the Parvatas, including kingdom and all, Asamanjas. As these four examples are illogical, asamanjasam, irrational, non-acceptable, what you said also is not easily acceptable, understandable to me. Therefore, yathavat etat deveshi. How you told, what logic you told, how I have to understand it. Kathaya amalaya dhiya. So take your time and patiently, please explain to me. Prasada anugruhitehi no dvijante mahojasaha. The great devatas, gurus like you, with all the stupid doubts, questions of the Bhakta disciples, instead of becoming angry, they only become more compassionate to help them in understanding. So I request you, for me it's impossible. I give all my logics and examples. And you being Devi, you will not speak jute. Or you will not say lies. Or is it so that आप मजाक से मुझे और परेशान करने के लिए कह रहे हो क्या? Whatever it is, गुस्ताखी माफ. I questioned you, I objected you, I said what you are saying is मिथ्या etc. अब ये सब मेरे ज्ञान अनुभव के हिसाब से मुझे लगे, so I have honestly put in front of you instead of hiding that in my mind. So forgiving all that, just make me understand. And to you and I also when we listen this, isn't it? It is mind blowing only, but patiently when we listen, slowly the understandings are happening. The first realization today is it is not the subtle inside the grass, it is the grass inside the subtle. Like every day, whatever we are contacting the grass, all that starts with subtle first, no? And ends also in the subtle. पहले मैं सोचता हूँ कि मैं क्लास करूँ, that is subtle, no? Then this grass class is done. While it is being done continuously, from the subtle only all my words, thoughts getting manifested. Then they go into the सूक्ष्म only again. तो सूक्ष्म में स्थूल होता है, स्थूल में सूक्ष्म. See, मुझे तो मजा आ रहा है ये कहते हुए all these topics. And it is blasting away all our wrong notions, which you cannot use on others. Huh? They have to listen to all the 10,000 classes you have done. Then only they can catch it. You have heard it, therefore you deserve. Or whatever the class is. सबके लिए नहीं हो, शुरू से सुनो तभी पकड़ में आएगा. So यथावत एतत् देवेशी यथावत एतत् देवेशी कथयामय अमलयादया प्रसादानुगृहीते हि नोद्विजन्ते महोजसः. So you won't become angry, please don't. Sri Devi watch. Mother first. God promise, mother promise, she says. Saraswati Mata says, Naham mithya vadamidam. What I am speaking is not mithya, my dear. झूठ नहीं बोल रही हूं मैं. यथावत शृणु सुंदरी. I spoke you truth only. Again I will explain to you. Listen. Vedanam niyatinam hi kriyate na asmadadivihi. See, whatever the niyati, the rules, regulations we made of not speaking the jhoot, etc., speaking only, how we only break the rules which we are supposed to protect. So I have not spoken anything wrong or lie. So vividyamanam anyena stapayami ahameva yam maryadam tam maya bhinnam kaha aparapaneshate. So anyena vividyamanam maryadam. So the maryadas, the rules, regulations, anyena vividyamanam, which are broken, shattered, destroyed by others. Tam stapayami ahameva. I only re-establish them. So somebody is breaking the rules. I establish them. Such me, maya bhinnam. If myself broke all the rules, regulations made by me only, kaha aparaha palayishyati. दूसरा कोई पालना करेंगे क्या? जैसे ऑफिस में बॉस ने जो रूल्स रखा, if he himself breaks them, how will others follow? So when I put the rule, others break, I reinstate, establish them. If I myself break them, how can anybody else follow? So ये rules means झूठ नहीं बोलने वाला. The same thing today, yesterday, in छांदोग्य we studied morning class में. मूर्धा तेवे प्रतिशत करके अब तक 10 बार आया. If you speak lie other than what you are experiencing, your head will break into many pieces. Like that here also. Why will I speak lie? The speaking truth is a maryada. If somebody doesn't speak, I make it established. Such me myself break my rules. How can anybody follow? Okay. Sagrama dvija jivatma tasmin neva swasadvani yomni eva idam maharashtram yomatma eva prapash. True. That Brahmana Jiva in that Brahmana Graha Akasha and in the Chitta Akasha, he is seeing all these things. Okay, this is little mind blowing and sublime. And it will definitely confuse us for some time, some days. All confusions will end in the understanding that these are all kalpita, which are erratic. Substratum, the reality alone is always real. The Brahman, वो ही कूटस्थ. उसके अलावा बाकी सब अलग अलग रहता है. उसको सबको समझना किसी को भी संभव नहीं. Remember, nobody can understand Maya and its powers. Nobody can understand this world. And nobody need to understand the Brahman. He can be the Brahman. Brahman is not to be understood because it's not object. You just be that. The world and Maya can never be understood because the intellect which you use to understand them also is a part of that Maya. ठीक है, अब यहाँ रोक देते हैं हम. A good subject, little heavy too. So tomorrow, as mother says, yes, it is true that Brahmana is Gruhakasha. He is there as he planned in that Chittakasha as the Raja. That is your husband who died now. No, that Brahmana died 8 दिन पहले. Again, she asked the question, in 8 days, how come we lived 80, 90, 100 years of whatever life we have? That's a big question. She says like this, Kala also Sankocha Vyakochatmak. Because you have not used your intellect to analyze all that and understand. Whatever delusion you are living in, it's comfortable. You just took it to be real. That's it. है ना? Like the variety ways we make सब्जी हम खाते रहते है ना, उबाल के मसाला डाल के. ये बेवकूफ है कि ऐसे ही थोड़ी खाना है. There are many ways you can eat it. कच्चा भी खा सकते हैं. सारे सब्जियों को आप ग्राइंड करके पानी में मिला के पी लो. दैट इज मोर हेल्दी एनर्जेटिक देन उसको उबाल के मसाले डाल के सत्यानाश करके. बट वी हैव फॉरगॉटन, अर्लियर वैसे ही खाते थे बट जीते भी थे. Isn't it? Rice eating. Who told you to eat rice? Boil the rice, take that kanji, that liquid, you drink it, that rice you give it to the cow and buffalo. But we have forgotten. We eat rice, that's why we behave like buffalo. Cow guy, buffalo guy. Isn't it? इसी कुछ चीजों में हम ऐसे सेटल हो जाते है ना, पलंग पे सोना, एसी डाल के सोना, नीचे भी सो सकते हैं, बट पिछले 40 साल से हम पलंग में सो के नीचे ही गिर रहे हैं अभी. बट दैट हैज बिकम ए रूल एज इफ एवरी डे सुबह शाम 2-2 घंटे टीवी देखो. किसने कहा है बेवकूफी? 6 महीने एक बार एक सिनेमा एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए देखना है. हु टोल्ड यू एवरी डे सी 6 आवर्स एंड खराब करो अपना छोटा सा दिमाग. सच फेलो इज लायबिलिटी टू द वर्ल्ड. Isn't it? The whole country of 140 crores, how many hours they spend on cell phone and TV nowadays? तो कितने घंटे human hours are getting wasted, and by seeing that their minds are getting polluted only. भाई इस तरह कितने बताऊं मैं. तो कल हम इसको देखेंगे. सुंदर है. वेरी गुड. टॉपिक कंटिन्यूस. So the desha drishtya, kala drishtya, she will explain that all of them are kalpita. The paramarthika is chidakasha only. So the name of the chapter is Paramartha Varnanam. पारमार्थिक दृष्टि में परमात्मा ही सत्य है. और ये सब स्मृति मात्र. This Brahmana did the smriti, therefore he became king and all. As a king, everything is smriti only. And in that he does another smriti. He will get that. इस तरह से एक में से एक जाते जा रहे. Then where is the solid Jagat? If you accept, it is there. Otherwise, from my standpoint, it is smriti. So here, that Saraswati Mata is rejecting the entire Bhuta Akasha and Bhuta Jagat. She is talking everything about Chitta Akasha and Chitta Jagat. That is Smriti. And that is also Smriti, not real. Real is only Chidakash. देखो, सुनते रहो, मैं भी कहता रहूंगा, एक दिन बात समझ में आ जाए. ओम पूर्णमदः शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. श्री रामचंद्र परब्रह्मणे नमः. वशिष्ठ महर्षि नमः. सरस्वती माताये नमः. समस्त साधकेभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो नमः. तत्सत् ब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु. धन्यवाद. कंटिन्यू कल. ओम. अब आना है तो आ जाओ. योग तारावली.